Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday and it's Sharing Wellness Promoting Health Wednesday. And I'm continuing this Wednesday with 10 steps from patient to person. We talked about acceptance, and acceptance isn't like giving up, it's just acknowledging where we are and how well we are adjusted to what's going on. And then we talked a little bit about getting involved and being active in your own recovery and your own care. And again, I'm sharing this from the Chronic Pain Support Group. And kind of evaluating ourselves, what our strengths and weaknesses are, and our personality, what our assets are, and what our support systems are like. So this week we're going to talk a little bit about setting priorities. And priorities helps us get a clear understanding of what's important to us. It's part of managing chronic pain is that constant feeling of being overwhelmed. We feel we have so many things to do, and then we aren't able to do them, and then we feel bad. So determining what's important to you, setting priorities can help you overcome this panicked, overwhelmed feeling. So to do this, it's really good to take a moment and think about what's important to you and what requires your attention. And you may want to write each one of these down on a separate piece of paper or note card. And then under each item, you may want to list some pros and cons. Okay, this isn't a task you're going to sit down and do in 20 minutes. You're kind of going to think about it over maybe a week. Think of what's important to you, what the pros and cons are of it. And then once you've done all that, you want to put maybe all the papers on the table, look at them and pick them up in the order of importance to you. So many of us have spent time focusing on how other people feel, and we may find this task is somewhat self-absorbed. However, when we feel better, the people around us are going to feel better, and everybody's going to benefit. So for some of you, identifying what's a priority for you may be difficult. So if it is, here's some tips. You may want to rate each of your daily activities on a scale of 1 to 10. Maybe I need to make the bed, I need to do the laundry, I want to exercise, take a walk, take time to deep breathe, whatever it is. Identify priorities that you should do on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. Other things you can do is walk through the house, take note of projects that need to be done, and rank them on a scale of 1 to 10. Like maybe there's a book you want to read, maybe there's a cabinet you want to clean out, maybe there's a box you want to go through. Maybe you want to take time and contact some family and friends and make a list of those people and determine who's important to you and who you want to be an important part of your life, because we all only have so much time. And then you may also want to take a look at some of the things you do to relax, or maybe some of the things you currently are able to do to have fun. Another option is you can take a look at some long-term priorities. Maybe when you were diagnosed with chronic pain, or the chronic pain entered your life, you were hoping to go to school, or hoping to take this class, or hoping to take this trip. So maybe those things are still important to you, and you can list the pros and cons, and then maybe there's creative ways you can still make these things happen. What if there was anything you can do in your health or nothing else mattered? What would you do? Maybe you can still do it. And then what's really important to you? The thing about priorities is as our life changes, so do our priorities. Because things, priorities aren't constant. They're not set in stone. They're what's kind of here right now. Our pain's changing, our relationships are changing, what happens in the family and our unit changes, and your priorities are going to change with those things. But being aware of what those priorities are and what your needs are is going to better help you deal with all these other things, because priorities are a starting point. They give you a plan of action, they give you identity on what's important to you, but you're also able to remain flexible with them. So, don't think, oh, this is my priority, I have to do this. If you don't feel like doing it, something else comes in that takes priority. So they're going to be flexible. And it's best to develop short-term and long-term ones, because one thing we're guaranteed in life, it's going to change, and that's going to change our priorities. That's going to affect how much we get involved. That's going to affect our strengths and weaknesses. So when these things occur and you've evaluated your strengths and your assets and your support system, and you've identified what's important to you, it's easier to know what you're going to give up or what changes you're going to make, and what changes you even can make in your life. So I hope that gives you some tips on setting priorities. And we'll talk to you next week. So have a great week and enjoy the spring.